So my very first question to all of you is that, how has COVID impacted your businesses or your industry? If you could just throw light, what are the certain challenges, that has, which your industry is facing because of the in the current situation? So anybody, Ajit, maybe you want to take it up first?
Oh, thank you, Sumit. Thanks for inviting us to the session and webinar. So yes, we've had a very huge impact, the hospitality business per se, and for us at hotels also, there's been a huge amount of impact. And just to give you a sense, when I compare business for vis-a-vis 2019, how the business was, we were last year 65% of what we were in 2019. This year, though, the impact has been very devastating, but business inflows, we've learned from the previous years, and we've looked at alternate business sourcing, and we hope to perhaps close by 80% of the previous year, but still it's going back a couple of years, and it has of course impacted our manning levels, our staffing levels. We've had to relook at our structuring. We've had to rationalize in certain functions and areas, and also we've had to mobilize to people across our chain of hotels, and into, depending on what the restriction levels were, and where the hotels were operating with a larger business volume, we had to rationalize and mobilize our manpower. So yes, as such, a huge change in business formats. Also, we traditionally we would have B2B or corporates, and then we would have retail business, but we've, most of our hotels, we've about 40% of our inventory. This year we are operating as COVID care centers, which primarily caters to that market of isolation and quarantine. When I look at this year, and this year since April onwards, it's been a total reverse and shift in business levels. About 70% of the business is coming from the quarantine care facilities. The corporate is down to 19%, and in fact retail is higher at 20%, and that retail business is coming from the people who are traveling for staycations, or they're traveling because they have family needs or any other personal needs. So complete shift in the market segmentation also that we've seen over there.
Sure. So that's kind of remodeling your entire business.
The story of most of the fintech firms, I would say probably all the fintech firms, is slightly different from what the hotel industry or the hospital industry is talking about. So surely because that the segment is that what has globally and in particular India, it has accelerated digital adoption very aggressively. So institutions like Bank Bazaar is purely digital, are able to accelerate various business plans. Well, the plans which we had probably for the next quarter and the subsequent quarter got accelerated because there was a compulsion to adopt digital very aggressively. So what the mission of Bank Bazaar itself is to give the customers paperless products. That you can take any product globally, without visiting a bank and without using a paper. So this digital adoption was aggressive, I would say. Yet for the month of March and April of 2020, we were a little clueless because now the pandemic was large, but we adopted very quickly. Kudos to the workforce. So we came back to about significantly last year. Wave 2 again caught us with surprise, but this time we were much prepared. The systems and processes are very well there. From HR front, I think there is significant adoption to digital usage for from onboarding to retiring. Everything is now significantly digital, only digital, I would say. And it also has reworked our manpower plans from a location perspective, skill perspective, flexibility perspective, and that is where apprentice model really works for us.
First of all, I would like to mention here that pre-COVID, the situations were normal, people were available, workforce was available at the ground. But since the pandemic has started, the mobilization, or we have seen the people started migrating to their hometown. So since the pandemic has started, it was very difficult for our industry to get the manpower on board. So again, attrition and getting people on board, because running an industry like where, because we are industry where we are working, we are into hospitality industry where we are serving food to the people, and our business is completely depend on the people who are working in the kitchens, like the kitchen staffs who make the foods, or the delivery riders who actually deliver the food. So since the pandemic started, people started moving, and we have seen major challenges in terms of manpower. So that was the concerns what we have faced during this pandemic, and uh, uh, currently we could see that we are achieving our pre-COVID numbers, but again we could see still because if you want to cover the entire India for a business, we still see there is a lot of opportunities for taking people on board, hiring them, or growing them, or developing with them. So this is how COVID has impacted our business.